I was just thinking about my younger days and the person that I was when I was innocent and naive. Innocent meaning that I didn't really understand how cruel the world was. I thought that if you're a good person, good things will happen to you. If you're a good person, you're going to have all these opportunities. People going to want to be around you. People going to want to befriend you. Then I realized that there are some good people, but they weren't necessarily attractive. Yet there are some evil people, but they were attractive. And these people and society was just nicer to the person that was an evil person, but because they were attractive, they opened up doors for them and gave them opportunities. And I learned that from a young age, and I seen it from a young age, especially when it concerns skin color configuration and the variations of that. So it's very it's very macabre once you realize that this world is pretty much found on how people visually look at each other. Like people judge you on your looks. People judge you, if you don't have any money. People judge you for what career you pick. People judge you, judge you, judge you, judge you, judge you. But they never judge the creator of this world. People have all the smoke for you, but have no smoke for the person or the being or the thing that made a soul trap machine. Something that allowed a society to be built back, a society to be built on the back and the bones of people that were decimated. This whole world is easily one of the most horrendous things in existence. The way we have to damn near fight like it's Game of Thrones or like it's the Hunger Games or something like that, just for survival and just for the viability of survivability. And we live in a volatile, hostile environment. Why can't we just love and do our passions? Why can't we do the things that we love? Why can't we play video games all day and smoke weed all day and not have to worry about bills or anything like that? Now, to somebody who's a sheep, that sounds like, oh man, you just want to be lazy, you don't want to work. And but it's like, shut up. Because when a billionaire or a trillionaire or Elon Musk, they get the fuck around all day or whatever, you have nothing to say about them. But if I was a multi-millionaire and I was able to do whatever I want, you have nothing to say about me. You can talk crap all you want, but you can't you can't hurt me or harm me or do anything to me. I'm rich, you know, right? Money buys access and power and opportunities. But I was just thinking about I miss who I was when I was younger. I miss that youthful jubilance, that youthful joy, that youthful ignorance about life in a way. You know, there's something about being really, really, really young and having dreams and inspirations and aspirations. It can combat depression. It can combat the feeling of not having a girl. For a long time, what got me through was thinking that one day God is going to bless me. One day I'm going to get a big blessing. I'm going to have all this, and eventually I'm going to have a beautiful girl come into my life, and then I'm going to buy her stuff, and we're going to buy a house. We're going to just live happily ever after and have some kids and, you know, praise the Lord and all that. And life seems so simple. But then that started breaking away. And as you get older, life, it gets harder and harder to be deceived when you're older. When you're older, you have a cognitive capacity that's been increased. And your cognitive functionalities, they can pick up on bullshit quickly. I know I can. Like, you can't really put no bull crap past me at all. So I'll just know. Because I've been through so much. I know it's real. I know it's not, for the most part. You know. And what I see in this world is very negative. You have people fighting against each other for nothing. You have different classes of people that are waging war with each other. You got people at your job that you don't want anything to do with these people. These people are negative. They're always talking crap about people. They're always starting stuff. They're always trying to start stuff. They're trying to instigate. They're trying to investigate, and they don't hesitate to but to cause problems. They don't hesitate to cause problems. And these are the people you want to get away from, but you need the money. So ultimately, you have to function at a hostile environment. Biting your tongue, your boss yells at you, you can't really yell back or get mad back. Something, if you do that, then it can jeopardize your job, which jeopardizes your income, which means you're homeless on the streets. So you're under this psychological shadow dagger that's always at your neck, where you have to face disrespect. And you have to face a myriad of other types of wars and battles that it's just, it makes like this life, like you start to question this world. Like, you really start to question, you're like, okay, well, who's behind this? Like, who is really, really running things now? Because now this shit is getting just ridiculous. Who's really running things? What's really going on? You know? Every single day is a battle. Every single day is a struggle. Every single day there's like a mental health episode. People wonder why I make daily videos. Sometimes I don't even want to make a video. It's just every day, like even right now, like about 15 minutes ago, I wasn't thinking about making no video, but I was looking at some old videos or whatever, and you know, I seen things that reminded me of my old self or whatever, and I was like, I feel melancholy. Let me just get this out, because if I don't, and I can't rap, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's just whatever. Let me just get this out, and I truly, what's crazy? This is what's crazy. I truly miss the person that I never became. I miss the honeymoon that I couldn't have, the honeymoon that I could have in France with my beautiful white wife. I miss the honeymoons and Paris, and the honeymoons and Germany or the Maldives or whatever you can imagine. That's a nice affluent place, and a nice place where you can enjoy something romantic. Like I miss those events where it's late at night, we're in Hawaii, my girl wakes me up, she got that thong on, I see that booty jiggle in the moonlight, I smack that ass, I roll up a blunt, she start giving me fellatio with a high ratio. I start hitting it from the back in the water, like I miss memories that I've never had. Does that make any sense? Like I miss the life that I can never have. The life I always wanted to have was to be a multi-millionaire. I always wanted to be a multi-millionaire, and the fact that I can't be a millionaire makes me incredibly upset. It makes me frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I have no outlet. I want to make $1 million. I want to make a lot of money, but in my line of business, like you have to know the right people, and the right people are not finding me. The right people in terms of business. Because all it needs is somebody who's already in the industry that you want to be in to open up a door for you, right? And what's crazy is, like, I've known people that were like, just because of who their uncle was, they got easy ass jobs. I'm talking about jobs that pay over $100,000 a year, or between 98,000 to 100. 70,000 the lowest, right? But these are good jobs, and these people, they don't really have to do much. And it's not that they were smarter or greater or whatever. It's just that they had the opportunity that was presented before them. A lot of people have opportunities that others don't have, and these opportunities can have a rippling effect on your life. That person who was 18 years old and their grandfather passed away and left them with $10 million, yeah, they can trick it all off and be broke, but some people, that gives them a head start in life, and that head start in life can mean the difference between life or death. A lot of us, we're under constant perpetual threat of all types of negative events and negative situations. And then every single day, there's like a delegation of evil and wickedness that comes to attack us. So we have to be strong, And one thing I've been doing now is I'm playing a lot more of horror games and watching horror movies and stuff, because I'm trying to desensitize myself for what comes after we leave this body. Because you have to understand that, I think Schizodumptious did a video where, and towards the end of the video, he talks about, and he shows people's different experiences when they take ayahuasca and DMT. These evil entities and these demons, they attack you in these astral worlds and these astral realms. It's like walking into a spiritual forest. So it's like right now, if you were to walk into the forest, there can be an animal that could attack you. So if you can pass away and you enter the spiritual forest, there's all types of spirits out there. Some are deceptive, some are aggressive, some try to be nice, some try to deceive you. So you don't know what to expect on that other side. It's going to be a roller coaster, man. It's going to be a roller coaster, man. So we got to be prepared to expect the unexpected, and is it scary? I mean, when every single day you're living your worst fears, you start to lose fear. Like you still have fears here and there, but for the most part, after you've been through the worst things that people can do to you, psychologically try to break you, try to destroy you, and you still come out strong, they just made you even stronger. And not only that, they just made you even more resilient, and they made you more brilliant, and they made you want to take the initiative even more. That's what people don't get. Real divine sparks always grow sharp. When the divine spark tries to get extinguished from the Autoboss evil attacks, it grows stronger. you know So we have to grow stronger in this situation, even though it means nothing in the end, really. What does it mean to suffer and to go through these things? And you got people saying, "Oh man, you don't want to be too negative." I'm not negative. Life is negative. All I'm doing is just pointing out what life is really about explicitly, in explicit detail, with no filtration, no filtration systems, no type of holding back, no biases. You know, and some people like that. Others, they don't like that. They don't like people being too raw. Like, oh, well, can you lie a little bit? Just lie to me. Just say that there's a loving, caring God and the devil's the bad guy. We die, we go to heaven with beautiful angels. We have grapes and fruits and wine. Just tell me that sweet, sweet, sweet old lie. Like, no, I'm gonna tell you the truth that I see it. The truth that I've come to, and then from my experiences and personal observations and analyzations and calculations, what I've come to is that when you pass away, it's going to be a terrifying experience, and you're going to run into scary monsters, giants, monsters. Like, I ain't talking about just a giant human with a club. I'm talking about something as big as Godzilla or monstrous or worse. You don't know what part you're going to be at, and then it's reacting to your fears, whatever you're most scared of. So if you're scared of heights, it can put you in an abyssal cloud and drop you into an infinite where you just see pitch blackness and keep falling. With thunderous winds and thunderous sounds around you. Or if you're scared of water, it can put you in a position where you just see a bunch of black water all around you, and you see 1,000-foot waves coming around you, and then you see a giant octopus monster coming after you, or a giant whirlpool trying to pull you in, and then you see a little bit of light in the distance, and they want you to go to that light. And once you get in that light, boom, you're in the soul trap, but you don't just get spawned that instantly. There's different types of places, right? Um, And these places are meant to loose you even more and horrify you even more before you get soul trapped. It's dangerous, and it's a spiritual degradation that slowly leads to spiritual isolation. And it's why a lot of people, they rather just bow to the altar ball. They rather just bow to the God of the Bible, just get to any heaven or anything they want, and just be there. But then when they find out there's something more beyond the God of the Bible, and their frequencies can't reach, they're gonna be like, "Damn, no, no, we should have went down, oh, man, no," and they're gone. But it is what it is, man. We don't really know what's on their other side. A lot of this is just speculation, but it's calculated speculation. How many times have you heard stories of people seeing spirits at graveyards at night, or shadow figures and shadow creatures, people taking ayahuasca, people taking DMT, and they're encountering all these interdimensional beings and these spirits and these entities? If you were ever inside the occult or secret societies, like, I've read Freemason books, I've seen the Freemason spell books, I've seen them. They have spell books, and these are These are people that are legitimate people, and yet they believe in magic, you know, and they utilize and integrate into everything in society. It's why certain people are Freemasons and millionaires. Not every single Freemason is just going to be a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. No, you know, there's certain levels and certain hidden levels and certain hidden initiations, and certain associations and calculations that lead to certain escalations. It's very, it's like a compartmentalization of information, right? Where they only tell people what they need to know until they get to a certain level. And once you get to that certain level, they give you a security clearance, or they give you this, they give you that. One of the highest security clearance is a clearance called Q clearance. Having a top secret clearance doesn't mean nothing, because top secret doesn't. That's not the real shit. The real shit is when it's deep underground. You start to see aliens and monsters, people in energy cages. Help me! Help me! Oh my God! I don't know how I got here. Help me! Help me! There's some deep underground CIA biogenetics installation, or biogenetics facility being experimented on, clone labs, all shit you can't even imagine right now beneath our feet. Real shit. You know. you know. I think Phil Snyder used to talk about this a lot. You know, very crazy world indeed, is it not? A world of intrigue, a world of spiritual plots, and all type of diabolical situations and observations to see. One thing I miss, and one thing I miss and I wish I could do more often is read. Like, read how I used to read back in like 2021, 2020. Where I'll smoke a couple of bleezies to the brain, and this is when I was at my peak of being a neat, so I had no worries, I had to worry, and smoke a couple of blunts, and start just reading esoteric books, and just reading different things and gaining secret knowledge, understanding what this world really is, a hell realm. That's why everything sucks, you know. You may eat ice cream one day, some good ass ice cream. Then the next day it gives you a stomach ache or it gives you some type of, just something foolishness happens. you know, they look at the diabolical methods that they utilize, like something as simple as getting a Gatorade. You'll read the Gatorade, shit, and it'll say blue 10 or blue number 9 or red number 4. Like, what the hell is that? Is the chemical composition so bad you can't even name it? You just got to put blue 4? Jesus. And we wonder why there's a proliferation of cancer cases. Because it's in the food. It's in the food. It's in the water. It's in the plastic. It's in your cell phone. It's in the airwaves. It's in the air itself. It's in the daily stresses of life. This is why there's cancer proliferation. This is why we're getting sick, because like we're deliberately being sick. We're deliberately being manipulated psychologically, spiritually, physically, mentally. We're being manipulated in this world, and people can't see it still. If you can't see that nowadays the modern woman is almost impossible to try to get with, and most of the modern men nowadays are weak and pathetic. And if you can't see how money is everything, looks are everything, this world is vain, it was made by a God who's insane. If you can't see that by now, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't see that most thoughts and bops be having only fans and only frauds and having an army of simps, and how wrong that is from people who really go through real shit, but at the end of the day, we live in a capitalistic, ritualistic, ballistic society, meaning that if people will pay for what they want, if somebody can put their bath water inside a jar and sell it, Belle Delphine, then hell, it's going to sell, which is ridiculous. It's like, come on now, how down bad are you guys? Like, people who do that, people who buy a girl's bath water. Well, how sick is that? What are you going to do with it? It's I don't even want to imagine. It's like, come on, her bath, like, come on, man, she's not a goddess. Like, come on, she bleeds every month. You know what I mean? Like, do you understand how disgusting periods really can get? Do you even know what a period really is? It's the formation of a baby before the damn sperm. So that's why it's so bloody and nasty. It's literally the biological ingredients necessary to make a baby, And if the girl doesn't get pregnant that month, then she bleeds, it comes out, and it's disgusting. Women bleed, and the most beautiful is girls. They bleed every single month. They bleed, they poop, they vomit, like women are human beings. You putting them on this, pedestal of worshiping them and all that. It's like, yeah, I understand she's beautiful. She got a big fat arse. I understand she's beautiful. Nice long hair, the whole shebang. She's sexy. But she's a human being too, We have the same biological functionalities pretty much, just different biological variations, such as our sexual appendages, and the lack thereof, right? So it's, when you really break things down, man, it's ridiculous. I was on Instagram, and Instagram might as well just be, the hub from back in the days, right? Before they took down the hub, before the hub got whacked. But Instagram, you see these girls, and they pretty much, some of them even look the same, but they do like the same thing. They're in a bikini. They start showing their little butts and wiggling it. And I'm like, that's crazy that all she has to do is just put on a bikini and shake her little butt, and she's able to get millions of men to send her lots of money. And none of those men are going to smash. She's going to be smashing somebody that she knows in real life, somebody she went to school with, somebody that she met in college. That's going to be her boyfriend, and she's going to be giving her love and her attention to him. Meanwhile, she's going to be siphoning all that money and attention from online to make their lives even better. And the funny thing about it, she comes from a good household. She's not homeless. She's not broke. She's not poor. She's in a good position financially anyway. She's doing it just because she can. And then she'll become a multimillionaire. Like let's say she was going to school to be a doctor or a nurse, and then she made about $200,000 on only frauds in a couple of months. She's never going to go back to school and try to get some degree or go become a doctor, because she's making more than a doctor now, damn near, right? Just, so it's like, but that life is not meant for everybody. Like, this successful life is not meant for everybody. Then I seen how they made the new monetization requirements for YouTube, how they made that so much harder. Now you got to get 8,000 watch hours and all this and that. It's just like, you're trying to make it so people can't have nothing. And even when people get monetized, people don't understand the money doesn't just flow out from the wind. You have to make videos every single day. If this money is business on the line, you can't just play around. Some people don't. You don't understand. So things become different when there's money involved. You know, point blank. Period. Remember, YouTube is a business. The people may like the videos and like that, but every video that you watch from your favorite YouTubers, just understand that they're running. It's a business. At the end of the day. Once the money gets involved, it becomes a business. As much as people don't want to hear that, it's the fucking truth. Back in the days when you said that you had a sponsor, I remember in the beginning of YouTube, like, oh, you got a sponsor, or you went corporate, and people didn't like that. Nowadays, when you say you have a sponsor, it validates you. It's like, okay, now you're official now, It's like the same amount of, okay, you're official now. It's like, no, not really. You have to get views and lots of views. You got to be consistent, because the minute you're not consistent, because when you're monetized, the algorithm works a little bit differently. If you don't make a video for a couple of days, that can negative. Then it's going to stop slowly. It's going to start slowly. It's going to stop pushing your videos. The people are going to start saying, "Hey, man, I'm notified, but I'm not getting." So it's like it incentivizes you to do it every single day. If you want to get anything out of this, you're going to have to do it every day, right? Or damn near every day. If you really if you're trying to grind for real, and I try to make videos until people say, hey, bro, hey, we're tired of it, or this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, fuck it. You know what I mean? Hell, well, the run was good. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I could speak, and I never ever had the validation and confirmation and authorization that I could speak. So, hell, this was an accident anyway. I was supposed to be no YouTuber. I was supposed to be no person that people listen to. Me? I was crazy, schizophrenic, talking to himself in his room. Everybody in the family thought something was wrong with me, Now I got people listening to me, and they say my videos help them. It's a weird feeling, but it's a good feeling too. It's just that I wish my grandma was alive. I miss my grandmother. I miss my auntie. I miss my uncles, um, aunties, And then I got an uncle now who's sick, and I'm like, damn, it's like, why in the span of a few years, my whole family just boom, disappeared out of nowhere, And it was right when I was beginning to learn even more about the demiurge, learning more about the soul trap rap, the soul trap, the soul trap crap we find ourselves in. You can't tell me that's not a coincidence. I don't know, man. The way the world's designed, you can tell it's not designed to help and heal our mind. You can tell whoever designed this, they want us to suffer in some way, somehow, and they want it to be consistent. They don't want the suffering to just last 1 or 2 days. They want the suffering to last our entire lives. How many of us will get that breakthrough that we really need to achieve and actually be successful? How many of us are going to become free and powerful? How many? It's difficult to survive in this world, and it's difficult to try to create something and try to be something when you feel like you're nothing, when you don't feel any type of happiness on the inside, when you feel empty on the inside, when you feel like your dreams and ambitions will never come to fruition, will never come true, and you will always be in this position of negative energetic manifestation or frequency fomentation. And you feel that no matter how hard you try, man, that it's going to be damn near impossible for you to become successful. It doesn't matter, it seems like, in this world. A lot of us were facing critical mental health situations, and we need help. We need help mentally, economically, spiritually. We need somebody to come into our lives and show us that they fucking care. Show us that they love us. Show us that we can trust people, that we can love. But the problem with that is, like, you're not going to find that in this world. In this world, what you're going to find is people talking behind your back, people plotting against you, people trying to oppress you and suppress you, people trying to stress you, people trying to break you, people trying to take anything that you have, and people trying to find any type of weakness that you have so they can try to monitor it, try to use it against you in the future just in case. It's just weird. It's a fucking strange world, isn't it? Isn't that weird? Is that normal behavior? In this world, the abnormal is normal. That's what's crazy about this world. In this evil, sadistic, twisted, wicked world, things that are not normal are normal. Do you think it's normal to have a being that is born? You have your grandparent. Like you say you have your grandma, you're a kid, you're young. You see your grandma, your grandpa. And then they pass away. Usually they're the first to pass. You're like, oh no. Then you miss your grandparents, and then your uncle passes away. And then that's usually how it normally happens for normal people. Somebody like me, you have your whole family just boom, just gone year after year after year. And everybody that allowed you to be neat, or you were neat under, is gone. Now you're thrown out into the real world with nothing, no support systems, no economic stabilization. But you have a raw talent. You just haven't found the right people to put you in position. You haven't found your people. You haven't found your the people that are willing to actually put you in position to win. And you're in the fomentation of that. But it's hard. I make videos every single day, or try to, if I'm feeling it. And look at my progress. Nothing, pretty much, Meanwhile, a pretty girl can come on here and say, "This is my first ASMR video, it's my first time, And she just smiles and shows some cleavage. That video gets 1 million views, he had me, or it gets 250,000 views, or 30,000. It gets some ridiculous amount. That was literally her first video she ever made. And she'll make about 15 videos, and then you see her, she have 50,000 subscribers, already monetized somehow, or 100,000 subscribers. Like, damn. So it shows you different people have to put different work in. Like somebody like me, I know that life ain't gonna give me nothing for free. So whatever I do, I have to go hard. I have to, So if any door opens up, I gotta try my hardest to make sure that door stays open and go hard, Because the minute you lack, the minute you slack, the minute somebody's going to attack, and you're going to get whacked, and you're going to be on your back, So you gotta try your best to subtract any type of potential negative events and fomentations and formations of any negative situations that you're going to find yourself placed in. Remember, young men, if something feels wrong and it's off, don't force yourself to do it. Don't. Certain people who you don't like, and they're kind of shady, they're kind of weird, they don't really got your back. You gotta have a mind about these things. Don't sit there and try to be around somebody that doesn't even like you. Don't never try to, and also don't ever try to befriend or try to make amends with somebody that showed you their true colors. When somebody shows you that they don't like you, they don't respect you, they never liked you, they have some type of secret one-sided war against you, some type of beef against you, they do things to attack you, they do things that hate you, but also at the same time, they're obsessed with you. Isn't that just, it's just some weird nature. And these are the type of people who you want to stay far, far, far away from, because they can become dangerous. When you have somebody that secretly that has a one-sided war against you, and they secretly hate you, or they hate you and they make it known, and it's just like a one-side, like they become schizophrenic. They start talking to themselves about it, start fantasizing about you, and start doing their fantasizing scenarios about it. It's like, oh, okay, now this is weird. Hey, bro, look, I like women. That's what I like, man. Any other weird stuff going on, bro? I don't know who you are, what you are, or just leave me the fuck alone. I won't bother you. Don't bother me. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. Just leave me the fuck alone. That's it. How hard is that to follow, right? Then you got family members who don't give a fuck about you, spying on you, listening to all your videos. It's like, I thought you don't like me. Why you listen? Like, I don't like you at all. Do you see me on your channel listening to what you're doing? I don't care, because I don't like you. I don't fuck with you. And I don't want you looking at my channel or watching my videos or listening to what I'm saying. It's none of your goddamn business, you nosy motherfucker. Mind your business. That's your problem. You act too much like a woman. Your mom passed away, and the first thing you did was slam the door on me and lock it. Fuck you. I'm not going, you can tell that my family has issues, or the family that I had, before they all passed away. But the last remnants, you can tell that we have issues. There's major issues in my family, and black families are like that. There's major fucking issues. Economic issues, psychological issues. You have some weird uncle that touched this person when there was a kid, issues, and everybody's quiet about it, but they know that motherfucker's a freaking pedo, and they want to be quiet and try to keep silence. I ain't being quiet about no wickedness. If anybody's doing something evil, I'm going to reveal it and show the world that it's wicked. I'm a son of Sophia. The true divine lights are sons of Sophia. We don't hide wickedness. We expose the evil because it's wickedness. We expose the secret societies. We expose secret underground bases. We expose the reptilians. We expose the money and the shekels and things of that nature, because it's wicked. And righteousness has to be maintained. Righteousness. Now look how I'm talking. You would think I'm a Christian. I ain't no Christian. The God of the Bible is my enemy. But you see how I'm talking with righteousness? Righteous indignation, because the God of the Bible is not righteous. He's powerful, not righteous. And we've been trained that power makes right. Power makes might. And power does make right in a system that's raised without light. We're in a system where the power is Stalin. Is Stalin a good man because he had power? Huh? Was Stalin good? Huh? Was Stalin good? Huh? Was any of his NKVD commanders any good? Huh? Stalin's NKVD? Were any of them any good? The commanders who commanded that? But they had absolute power. So the God of the Bible has absolute power, but it doesn't make him moral, it makes him powerful. The demon lord and the anime can have power, it doesn't make them good. Power doesn't automatically equal good. Look at the United States of America, the most powerful country in existence. Is it a good country? Hell, a lot of us live in the United States. You know, I grew up in California, right? And I can tell you firsthand, this country is the most wickedest, evil thing I've been. Shit, it's true. All types of wickedness and vices, things to trap you, things to soul trap you, things to piss you off, things to make you mad. It's just, I want freedom, I want peace, and I want happiness. But I have this tenacity and this veracity and this capacity for esoteric information. I love secret knowledge. I love things about magic, ghosts, wizards, elves, fairies. And it sounds like I'm saying, like what I'm saying is fantasy. But we have to look at the realities of some of these ancient things. Some of these ancient things, these myths, it's just that they happened so long ago that they become legend and myths and fantasy. But at one time, this was actual history. Do you know what they have in Area 51 in the classified biogenetics facilities? Do you know what they have inside classified installations? Huh? Do you know about the giant man-eating ice giants on the Himalayas and in the Himalayas? Those Yetis that live in those ice mountain caves, those Yetis that can survive blizzards. It can be a storm, it can be a blizzard outside. You have a 10-foot, 12-foot, 25-foot giant monster walking around in the snow. People think I'm crazy, but I ain't crazy. I just know classified information that's not for public consumption. There's different types of humanoids. Humans are not the only two things that can walk on 2 feet, and but that's what they want you to believe. And because you never see it in real life, you automatically think, oh, that's fake. But you got to understand, most people just wake up and go to work every day and pay bills. They don't go outside beyond that. And even people who go out into the woods, they may not encounter much, but some of them encounter shit but don't say shit. I'll tell this quick story. A long time ago, this was like I was in high school, but I remember we was going paintballing, right? And we was going paintballing, and on the drive there, my friend's uncle starts just telling his story or whatever, right? And the story, it wasn't about it wasn't him, but it was one of his friends, one of his older friends. This happened back in like 1976 or something like that. Long story short, he told the story about how this hunter, the person that he knew. So this hunter, goes to this place, it's in California, and it's a place he's been hunting for a while, And out of nowhere, he hears in the distance, like across the river and like up the valley a bit, what sounds like a woman screaming, like a banshee, like a woman screaming bloody murder, like, ah! But he can tell instantly that it wasn't no bobcat lie. It wasn't nothing like that. He can tell that whatever it was, it didn't even sound human. And he said that it sounded otherworldly. And he said the scream, he said at first everything, like there was crickets in the ponds and everything that he was around, he was using birds in the trees, some birds, because sometimes at night birds make noises and crap. He said all that was going on, and right when he heard that scream, everything went silent and it stopped. And he said he felt this primal fear as if he was being hunted. He said like whatever it was, it felt like it was hunting him. But he didn't make any noise or anything, But, he said like a couple of hours before he had like set up camp or whatever, had a fire going, And I think he had his dog with him, like a greyhound or something like that. And the dog got frightened. Like the dog started to want to the dog hid under the truck, And so And this doesn't mean he didn't see anything, but he heard there's like a blood curdling stream. I remember hearing that a long time ago, and I was thinking that's interesting. But this person just heard that in the middle of the woods. It was like something that sounded like a screaming woman, but it made everything go silent and it sounded otherworldly. You know, so that's just something right there. And there's way more stories than that I can get into, but you know, that's like you have to feel when it comes to new information, when it comes to the consolidation and integration of new information, people have to have it in fun bites. You can't give people too much secret knowledge, just boom, put it on them because they're going to reject it. Oh, I don't believe that. There's no such thing as giants. That's bullcrap. So you have to feed it to them little by little by little by little till they get it and be like, so if that's real, then damn, maybe you are right. Like, yep, bingo. Now you're catching on, but be careful. When the demiurge learns you're gaining information, he's going to start doing some calculations and try to attack you to make you face obliteration. So be careful with that. But anyway, man, I'm done. You guys take it easy. Peace.